noughts, crosses. Why isn't it called X's and O's? Pretty good question.
What?
You might find out. I don't know how with Jim Jeffries. Because I'm looking at the noughts and crosses board. You call it noughts
Wait,
and-
what are you saying?
Yeah, what is the first
What's
word?
noughts and
crosses.
What are
What's
noughts?
noughts?
What do you call that game, noughts and crosses?
Tic-tac-toe?
We call it noughts and crosses.
I think you say knots.
Like
Doesn't
nought,
matter.
like nought,
I don't
like
care if
zero.
we say knots, nits, knots.
But-
Well, it's not noughts.
Nought.
It's not
Naught
nought.
is never wait, zero is not
Nought,
called
nought, got
no.
nothing, nought.
Well, how do you spell it?
Like N-A-U-G-H-T.
Yeah,
Not,
noughts and crosses.
Oh,
Still,
not.
You call it tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses.
X's and O's, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, we call it tic-tac-toe. I
It's
honestly
X's
have
and
never
O's.
heard any
Wow,
other version
yeah.
besides
You
tic-tac-toe.
fucking
I
heathens.
honestly,
Heathen, do you call it knots and aughts or whatever you call
Noughts
it?
and crosses.
Yeah, still no good.
Noughts and crosses. And you call, I've heard tic-tac-toe.
yeah, because that's what it's called.
Noughts and crosses. If you Google noughts and crosses, it'll fucking
I'm-
come
yeah,
up
I'm
all
Googling.
day.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come up. I'm not, but I'm saying whatever. Your country's wrong.
That's why I said it. I thought I had a
Noughts
stupid
and
name for a
crosses.
game, noughts and crosses.
Oh, because there was also a British drama television series based on the Noughts and Crosses novel.
What?
There's a
Noughts
novel
and crosses.
series.
It's called Noughts and Crosses.
It's a TV series.
I've
I
only,
can't
I've only
remember.
recently, I think I mentioned this the other day on the podcast. I only recently found out you don't say hip hip after they sing happy birthday. People of Australia, right? Imagine this. You're at a party in America. They sing happy birthday. What do you do after everyone sings happy birthday? You go hip hip. And then everyone goes, hooray. And then and if you're like sort of an alpha in the group, you go, oh, I'll do the hip hip today. I'll do that. And Americans
don't
don't
do
do the
that.
hip hip hooray.
I feel like here we're just waiting for the song to be over and for
There
everybody to
isn't
stop
a
looking at
lonelier
us.
place on earth than saying hip hip after happy birthday and no one saying hooray afterwards.
Yeah, then also no one sings He's a Jolly Good Fellow here.
And then we sing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow afterwards.
It's too much.
And then
That's
we'll
too
do
much.
something.
Why is there
Why
a
was she
folk-
born so beautiful? Why
It's
was
like
she?
20 minutes. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, we have a whole montage of songs. We don't stop.
Well, it says tic-tac-toes from American English, noughts and crosses, Commonwealth English, X's and O's, Irish English. History, the game was played, traced back to ancient Egypt.
Well, don't
so
give them
who
too much
knows?
because that's going to ruin our tic-tac-toe
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. You got some shows coming up, Jim?
Noughts and crosses. Yeah, I do. I'll be in Calgary and Edmonton. There's an extra show I believe I'm in Edmonton first. There's an extra show on the Thursday in Edmonton that sells tickets. The Friday night is sold out. The Saturday night in Calgary is sold out. The Sunday show has, we put on extra shows. There's a show on the Sunday. So come along to that. I'm going to have 3 opening acts. They asked me to put the shows on early and late, and I said no, because we're doing a long show and I didn't want to rip anyone off and do a short show at the beginning and a long show at the end. So come and see me, Edmonton, Calgary. I'm bringing the fam. I'm doing the whole thing, man.
I'll be there with it, yeah. And so the only shows that I would like people to come out right now that are on my schedule are April 26th will be at the Largo Theater. You'll be on that show too. It's
I'll
our
be
buddy
there.
Orlando Labus show at the Largo Theater. So if you're in LA, go to that. May 19th, if you live in Sacramento, it's the Starlit Room at Harlow's. One night only, May 19th, will be in Sacramento. And last weekend, or no, this would be 2 weekends ago, I was at Tampa Side Splitters, and a lot of people came out from the podcast.
Awesome.
And so thank you for coming out. If you listen to this podcast and you came out, I really appreciate it doing that. And also, a fan came out, a fan that from your show in Tampa, and he promised us sneakers, and he brought me sneakers to Tampa. And so there was an artist that did these sneakers.
They smell good.
Yeah, they're brand new. So the artist's name is Rojo.
Never had new shoes.
Rojo is the name of the artist. You can find him on Instagram at Rojo the Artist, and he does. He's like a Tampa, Florida-based artist. He does one-of-one artworks, and he works with Creators Token. It's called @Creators Token on Instagram. It's a company that will legitimize and monetize a one-of-one piece of artwork using NFTs. So these shoes have NFTs attached.
Are they going to go up in value like a Bitcoin? Is it going to be worth?
I can't believe you're wearing this shoe. Like,
Well,
you
here's
would
the
think
thing.
that you put them in a case or something.
No, well, that's what I said when they handed me the
Disrespectful.
shoes. I said I guess I shouldn't wear them, and he was wearing. The artist was wearing. Rojo was wearing a pair of shoes, and he goes, "Yeah, you're supposed to wear them." So I'm wearing them now. I'm not gonna like wear them in the rain or anything like that. I feel
Not
like
for the
that.
100-meter dash.
No, not for the 100-meter dash. But very nice of them. I'm wearing me and Jim cannot wear these together though. I don't think we can go out and wear it.
I think you should. I think you guys need to all have matching
Me and
sneakers when
Forrest,
you
me and
perform
Forrest have the
together.
same glasses now. We've got
Yeah.
the same level of facial
You
hair.
guys are really veering on. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
There's a there's a little picture on the shoes of each of our faces. They look
Yeah.
quite different. So I think we're still looking different.
Yeah, and yours says Forrest on them.
Yeah.
Are
yours
you
is-
size 10 as well?
11.
Ah, well, I couldn't even.
Oh, God.
Yours would be
Yeah.
loosey goosey on me.
Yeah. Swing around.
Yours would feel like I was fucking an 80-year-old prostitute.
No, well, anyways, thank you to Rojo, the artist who did this.
The vagina would be big, you
I
see.
always stick my feet in
I was
her.
laughing at something else.
I mean, if my dick would just rattle around.
You can hear it echo.
Yeah.
Thank you to Rojo, the
It
artist that
sounded
did
like
these.
Tic Tacs from the plastic plate she had put
All
in
right,
there.
try and thank him one more time. Thank you to Rojo, the artist that did these, and creators
Tithe
token.
or something.
All right, let's try it one more time.
Thanks, Rojo.
Anyways, it was very nice of them to bring, and thank you to everybody that came out to the shows. It was awesome. Make that boy feel good.
All right, let's introduce our guest.
No,
Oh,
Yeah.
let's do some ads.
no.
Which one?
Which one are you doing?
I think let's introduce our guest now, and then after we do the first one,
Okay.
right?
That's interesting.
What do you want,
Well, what
Luis?
do you want?
Luis, what do you want?
Ads.
Take
ads would be
charge.
great.
Take
Well,
charge.
yeah,
Ads,
like,
dude. Okay,
Don't just fucking shake your head.
Always
about
ads.
We'll
it.
do some ads. We'll do some ads. Luis is in a bad mood.
This is
Yeah,
me. I'm
fucking
shaking my head.
Luis.
Yeah, he was in Vegas for last week. He
Jesus.
Oh,
It's like the
yeah.
guy goes on vacation every goddamn
you
week
win
and he's
money?
still in a bad mood.
I won 1,000 at the airport,
Yeah, so you should be happy.
but I spent like 1,300.
Yeah, so you had a free trip.
$300 is nothing.
Free trip, baby. Baby.
Anyway, Luis is in a bad mood, so let's do some ads.
Yeah.
Stupid
Wooden car.
Give me the ads.
Idiot. Please introduce our guest, Kelly Hart. Or
Please-
wait, please introduce. Fucking idiot. I'm fired.
No, why don't you introduce him?
Okay. Please welcome our guest today, Kelly Hart.
Hello, welcome. G'day.
We got to play the
What
music.
the fuck is going
No,
on?
g'day, Kelly. G'day, Kelly. Now it's time to play.
Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. Judging a book by its cover.
Okay, before you guess, Kelly is sitting in front of a wall of skateboards. I want to let you know we're not talking about skateboarding.
All right.
Or maybe we are.
Are you a big unicycle guy?
We might be talking about skateboarding.
Is there a more arrogant form of transportation than the cunt on the unicycle?
No, God, no.
You're trying
Look
to.
at me.
You're
I
trying
can
to get and tell. Oh, God, at a party, you're going around the swimming pool and you're sort of back and forth. Like, fuck you, dude. But jugglers, that's where it's at.
Kelly Hart.
Kelly Hart. I feel like Kelly might be famous. It feels like a famous name, Kelly Hart.
What do you mean? How do that? Names are famous?
Yeah, but
People are
it,
famous.
it rings a bell. Okay,
Kelly
Kelly.
Blackheart.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it comes from. Kelly, does your topic involve sport?
I guess you could say yes. Yes.
Yes. Is skateboarding part of what we're going to talk about?
It's a big part of it. Yeah.
Is it skateboarding?
Okay, you got it. Kelly Hart. Kelly Hart is a professional skateboarder born and raised in Laguna Hills, California. Kelly started skateboarding in 1995 and is now team manager for ES Footwear, Mob Grip Tape, and Rick the Wheels. He is the co-host of the podcast, The Nine Club, and judge for SLS skateboard contests. And it says here, you wrote this, I guess I'm an influencer for jumping rope. So I don't even know how that works, and he currently lives in Venice, California. You can find him on Instagram. It's at Kelly Hart. It's Hart is how you spell his last name. Thanks for being here, Kelly.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
All right. I know. Look, I've stood on a skateboard. I don't have the balance for it. I gave it a go a few times as a kid. I used to skateboard back in the day when they used to put guards all over the skateboard. There used to be like a pad at the back. And then you put two rails down the thing because you wanted to protect your board the whole time. There was a nose guard. Now they feel like you just go, well, it's just a bit of wood. Just buy another one.
Before we start, how are you a jump rope influencer?
Well, what he does is he jumps rope and people. Okay, you explain it, Kelly.
I like saying, I don't know how to explain that, to be honest, because it randomly came into my life. But when I've gotten hip surgeries through skateboarding, ankle injuries and whatnot, and I needed to keep myself in shape so I could skateboard. So I got into jump roping, and next thing you know, I'm like working with this company called Cross Rope, and it's just helped as you get old. I'm 37, and so my body doesn't work as good as it did before,
Right.
and it's a better way to keep myself active. So I thought I'd just throw it in there anyway. So why not?
Yeah, sure.
I dream for my body to feel like it did at 37, and I was doing nothing back then.
Yeah, but you weren't a professional skateboarder. He's gonna have more injuries than you did, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, did you get have you got a fake hip? Or you had a hip hop?
No, I did have a hip operation. It was like a hip reconstruction. It's they just shaved down a bunch of bones. It was so like labrum's fully gone, cartilage fully gone, and they had to go in there and put a cadaver labrum in there, and so it's just like they redid it, and it feels crazy still, but it doesn't hurt.
When you say cadaver, isn't that a dead body? Do they? What, have I missed something?
What is a dead body?
No, that's a dead body.
They put
It's like,
they put a dead body in your hip. What's going on?
Yeah, the organ donor stuff when on your license it says like, oh, you can be an organ donor or whatever.
Oh, right. So, I didn't even know. I thought it was lungs, hearts and kidneys and stuff like that.
Hips.
I don't think my mother was like, when she was passing away, it was like, oh, they can donate whatever organs. You're just dying of kidney failure. Like, what do you think? You think there's nothing they're going to ship out of you, Mum? You're almost 80 years old. We found a good heart. There's some teenagers been in a car accident. Don't worry, we've got Carolyn Nugent's heart.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask Jim some questions about skateboarding. We'll see what he knows. And Kelly, the professional skateboarder, Kelly, will grade you on 0 through 10, 10 being the best for accuracy. Kelly.
You can call me Kelly Bear.
Kelly Bear will grade you on confidence, 0 through 10. I'll grade you on et cetera. Well, add your scores together, 21 through 30, skateboarding, 11 through 20, waterboarding, 0 through 10, boarding a Southwest flight. Terrible airline.
I love Southwest.
Do you know like where skateboard was invented?
I believe it was invented in California.
Uh-huh.
If anything, the video game from Sega called California Games, which had a half pipe game and a surfing game. I think it was invented in, I'm going to say Santa Cruz, California.
Okay. Do you know what front side is or back side?
I always thought it's the way you stance with it. I always thought it was goofy foot and the other one. So
that's another question. What's goofy foot?
Goofy foot is if you stand on it like with your left foot. No, your right foot forward, your left foot steering at the back, your right foot forward.
And then front side and back side?
Front side, back side, that would be where your balance is, whether you lean forward on the board or you lean back on the board.
Okay.
I don't know.
What sport is responsible for the invention of skateboarding?
What sport is responsible for the... okay. I know this one.
Yeah. These are the ones you should be getting.
No, I do know this one. Okay. So originally they used to have these boards with little wheels on them that had a little wooden box at the front with a light on it. And then Marty McFly came and ripped that bit off.
Yeah.
And then he just rode on it. And then Biff ends up in Bermuda. We all know that, Forrest.
Yeah. You got that right.
So I'll give a real answer. Back to the Future.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
No, let me think. What sport is... I would say... This is what I'd say. I'd say it was surfing. And then when the surf got bad, someone put wheels on their surfboard and tried to sort of act like that was street surfing.
What is a deck?
A deck is the wood. The wood before you have the wheels.
What about a truck?
A trucks are the wheels.
Okay. Okay. Polyurethane wheels were introduced in 1973. Why was that important?
Because before that they were using granite.
Yeah. Okay.
The polyurethane wheels. I believe that they probably have a bit of give and they could flex because you got on the rack. You got the access, the bearings that go back and forth.
Again, the 70s there was a drought. There's been a lot of droughts in California, but why did this help advance skateboarding?
Because everyone had to empty their swimming pool and the kids all got in there and went for
pretty
it.
Good.
Damn.
Half pipe, you know what that is?
Half pipe is just the up and down. It's a half pipe. A full pipe would be a complete circle.
What do you mean pipe though? What is it?
Like a pipe's like a tube.
No, but it's skateboarding.
Yeah, skateboarding. It's the ramp that goes up and down. It's the half pipe.
What is an ollie?
An ollie.
Yeah.
Oh, ollie's where you kick at the back and you elevate off the ground. We don't call them ollies. We call them ollies in Australia.
No, they're called ollies.
Yeah, ollie.
Well, because they're named after someone. Do you know anything about that?
Ellie Overton, the Australian swimmer who got a bronze in the in Atlanta.
Yeah.
She went to my school. It's the only reason I know her name.
What is a manual pad?
That's when men get their periods.
Switch topics. You're right.
Yeah. It's what you wear after a vasectomy.
What is a shove it?
It's how they make the insertion for the vasectomy. A shove it. That would be. It would be a stunt of some. I don't know what the stunt is, but it would be a stunt.
I don't think they call them stunts.
It would be a trick.
Yeah, but okay. It's a trick, but what happens in it?
A shove it. I would say that's something where you get the nose and you put it up on a railing and then you go backwards.
Yeah. What is Tony Hawk's famous move?
Maybe he was the best at a hand plant.
Okay.
I told you the story. I met Tony Hawk. It brings me douche chills every fucking single time. You mention his name, and I just go.
Well, I don't remember the story.
Yeah.
I don't remember the story either. Tell us.
Oh, you don't know this story? Fuck. All right. So I'd been doing gigs all over the place in Europe, I believe, and then I'd come back to do the Oddball tour, and it was me, Dave Chappelle, Fly the Conchords. Obviously, wasn't the top billing. They were. So it'd Fly the Conchords.
I went to one of those with you.
Yeah.
I think I was at that one.
It was
Yeah.
no, I did a whole heap of them. This one was in Vegas.
Oh,
And
I did.
so this was at the MGM Arena where they had the boxing. So it was like 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And so I'd just flown in, got off the thing, and I was one of the first acts on. I think Silverman was on this one as well. And so I went on, did me set, and then I fucking went back to my dressing room, which was like a locker room for the boxers. You know, there was all these type of things, right? And I sat on a bench and I'd swiped a bottle of vodka and I just drank by myself, just got hammered because I was just going to go to bed because I'd been flying the whole day and being a long day. And I got hammered all by me lonesome in this room. And then fucking one of the promoters knocks on the door and it says, Tony Hawk wants to meet you. And I'm so fucking leglessly drunk. And he'd asked to meet me after the show and said he was a fan or whatever, or a friend of his was a fan. I can't really remember. I was leglessly drunk. And he was there with, I assume, his wife. I'm going to say yes, it was his wife. And he came in, and I was leglessly fucking drunk. And I was like, don't you enjoy the show? Like this. And he was just like, yeah, I thought you were really funny, man. I really enjoyed blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, oh, what common conversation can I have with him? I'm so mashed up. And we all know I'm a pinball enthusiast. I'd recently watched the episode of Cribs. Of Tony Hawk's.
Okay.
Back when his son was like 8 and they had like a fucking South Park pinball machine in his son's bedroom. And I went,
That's already bad.
I know what's in your son's bedroom.
and I went, your son has a South Park pinball machine. That's pretty good one. You gotta roll the ball up into the toilet. It's pretty hard to get in there. And he goes, my son does have that. And I go, yeah, it's on the second story, so I'm sure it makes a lot of noise when you and the wife are trying to watch TV downstairs. And he went, you should go to bed, man. And he was like, it's been really nice meeting you. And he fucking came to meet me, and then I was a fucking mess, man. Oh, even now I feel just...
Callie, can you get word back to Tony Hawk that Jim apologizes for?
I'll let him know.
We'll use this as a clip and we will appeal to him on social media.
I assume he'll remember.
Yeah. How could you forget?
I think even like Dave Chappelle was still on stage or something. He came specially back to meet me. I was and I was all by myself, and I was like, I wasn't even in like a room.
Did you really?
I wasn't even in like a room with a bowl of fruit or nothing. I was laying down on one of those benches in locker rooms with all the slats on it.
Oh my
You know
God.
what I mean?
A bottle of vodka.
Yeah, with just a bottle of vodka next to me.
Oh my God. I don't know that story.
I haven't told you that story. I'm sure I thought I told. All right,
Are these the donuts?
it's one of those ones that I feel so much shame about it that I don't mention it often, but I have. I'm sure I've told you. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's get to some more questions.
Forrest ordered donuts.
Oh, yeah, our donuts
so,
are here. All right. What is the leap of faith, and was it ever landed, Jim?
The leap of faith, I want to assume, is those big monster ramps where they go all the way down and then they go up and it's like a huge big thing. I believe it has been landed.
Which comedian is also a pro skateboarder?
Which comedian is a pro skateboarder?
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
golly.
has been. I don't know if they currently are.
Steve-O's not a skateboarder.
There's also a comedian whose son is a professional skateboarder. He still might be one of the tops.
I don't know that answer. I don't know.
How do competitions work? Like scoring, et cetera, how they do it?
Well, what they do is they try to keep it out of the Olympics because they're all on drugs. None of them.
No, it's in the Olympics now.
Skateboarding.
Yeah,
that's going to fuck things
first
up.
Olympics. So
I believe back in the day they were just happy with their X Games. Like, don't worry about it. The Olympics, like, how about you give it a go? We're all high.
Scoring.
Scoring.
How's the scoring system?
I believe it's the same as when you score a diver or ice skating, and you have different judges, and the top score and the bottom.
Just saying how competitions work, but
no, the top score and the bottom score is taken away, and then it's the average score from the rest of it.
Okay, we'll get into. What is a skate stopper? Do you know what that is?
That's when you put like little bits of concrete on the floor so they can't do it.
Okay.
There's something they do like that foot braille stuff. That foot braille.
Foot braille.
No, foot braille's real stuff.
I know. I like.
It's that stuff. It's that stuff.
Is that what it's really called?
Yeah. When you get up to the lights and they have those little dimply bits.
Yeah, I
that
know what
was
you're talking
invested in
about.
That's for blind people.
Yeah, it's what's foot braille.
I've never
okay.
heard
The
it
word
called
braille is
foot
for
braille.
blind people.
Okay.
I assume something like that is a skate stopper.
Okay, a couple more questions. When was the first ever skateboarding competition? Where was it held?
I want to say the first ever skateboarding competition would have been, because the ones in the 70s, those boards weren't really. In the 80s, it's definitely. I'm going to say 1976, and it was held at Venice Beach.
When was Street League skateboarding founded, and by whom?
It was founded by Kelly in 2004.
Kelly Hart. Okay.
Kelly Blackheart.
Okay, Kelly Hart. What
You know
is
me.
what is a fakey tray fakey manny?
What?
A fakey tray fakey manny.
Mm-hmm.
A fakey would be when you go to do a stunt and then you're like, what?
But then it's it's a trick too.
Yeah, you go to do it and you're like,
Yeah. And it's a fakey tray fakey manny.
Yeah, the trick is I did another trick when you thought I was going to do another trick.
And then manny.
And it was
It's like when you go to bunt, but then you get a home run.
No, a manny's when you get the fat kid from Modern Family to do it.
And what's a fakey tray fakey petty?
Oh, that's
forget it, I'm kidding.
That's a thin
Okay.
person.
What is El Toro? Is your last question.
El Toro is a very, very cheap tequila with a little plastic red hat on it that's mostly used for cooking.
Hey Kelly, how you doing there, Kelly Hart? How did Jim do 0 through 10, 10 being the best
I'm not wrong.
on his accuracy
Hey,
of
you're right.
skateboard? I know the beginning went well, but how do you feel he did overall?
I'm going to honestly say like an 8. There was a few that weren't really there, but for the most part, I wouldn't say you were pretty spot on.
Wow, really nice, Kelly.
Yeah.
Really nice. Okay.
Did I get Santa Cruz? I feel like I pulled that one out of
No.
my ass.
No. Kelly Zabilski, how do you do on confidence?
I'll give you I was gonna give you a 6 on confidence, but then the up to you 1, so you're gonna get a 7.
Yeah.
15 total. All right, minus 10 means you're boarding a Southwest flight. Have fun, buddy.
That sucks.
Have fun with that.
Oh, 15 total. You give me nothing.
Etc. Goes all over the place, man.
All right.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know if we score this properly. You're asking how skateboarding scored. I feel like our scoring system's fairly loose.
We explain it every week. Pretty solid.
It's consistent at least.
When was so where was skateboarding invented then? Do we know?
I personally, I know it's California. That's something that maybe I should know, but that was so before my time. I don't know exactly where it was, but it definitely came, like he said, or like from surfing.
It's Southern California, yeah,
that-
in like
isn't that what the Lords of
early
Dogtown is about?
1960s, yeah.
Did you see the Lords of Dogtown?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I talked about on our pre-interview that I did the whole time. I was like, Lords of Dogtown. Okay, well, let's ask this. So what is front side and back side and goofy foot? Jim said, did he have that right? Goofy foot, he said right foot forward.
Yeah, you had it. You went from left and you put the right in front. So I was like, there you go. It's right foot forward and left foot and back. And then regular foot would be left foot in front and then right foot and back.
Now it doesn't. Are some people because
I think I ride goofy.
Because I was going to ask because I always associate it with being like left-handed, but it's not really that. It's just how you're comfortable, I guess, right?
It's just how you're comfortable. You'd be surprised. I don't know. Some people, I don't know.
Is there prejudice against the goofy-footed?
No. You know what's? I mean, there's a thing called switch stance. So people, they're learning now is that like you can skate regular footed and goofy footed. So it's like you can skate.
But have you ever got into a fight with a fellow skateboarder and gone, you goofy footed fuck? You ever said that?
There is no hatred between the two.
Ah. No,
it's the modern West Side
until
story.
until I get on the tour.
I wouldn't be interested, no.
Throw a few spanners in the goofy foots world.
Sport responsible for invention of skateboard. There's a lot of Marty McFly answers there, back there. And then you said surfing. And I believe that's correct, right?
Dude, like it was crazy. You brought up the Back to the Future because I remember watching that as a kid, but the generation, I wasn't skating in, the generation that started back then, they got really influenced by that because there was no skate videos or really anything going on. So that was a big inspiration for a lot of the skateboarders back in the day.
Have you ever hung onto the back of a car to get to school in time?
Oh, getting like hitched or whatever? Or no, that's like a New York or East Coast thing, I want to say.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a real thing. I thought that was just a back to the because I remember thinking that guy's cool as fuck, man. He's late for school, he's hanging on the Jeep, and then the guy looks back and he just sort of goes, and you're just
Thanks
like,
for the ride.
all right, Marty. And then the bit where the skateboard goes underneath the car, then he runs through the car. God, I've got to watch that movie again. It's so
You got
fucking.
plans tonight?
It's so good, and he shows up, and he's like, you can have it back. I'm keeping this board. Like, it's great. And then he like does that thing where it bounces up. Fuck.
I saw it for the first time last year.
Back to the
Back to the
Future?
Future?
Yeah.
My wife had never seen it. She came to it begrudgingly because she thought it was a stupid, like a boys movie or something like that. And then
It's a movie for everyone.
I saw her like when the car was racing along and the Thunderbolt, and she was going, "Come on, come on, come on!" And
Yeah, it is really good because there's a lot of like classics that I never saw growing up,
Yeah.
and so I'm seeing them for the first time as an adult. And I'm 35, so not everything holds up, but I really did like
oh no,
Back
it
to the
holds up.
Future.
It holds up. I'll tell you what doesn't hold up: The Last Starfighter. Fucking hell, that's a letdown all these years.
even know
I used to
what that is.
love
I don't know
that movie.
what is
Oh,
that?
you got to watch it. It's brilliant.
Not good. It wasn't good original. What is a deck and a truck? Jim said deck is a board, trucks are wheels. How do you do there?
Well, so I have my board right here.
All right.
Like, so this
Oh, that's what
here,
they look like.
That's a truck.
That's,
Okay, that's the joke.
The
yeah.
things that hold the wheels to the board pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And you were right about the deck though.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
How many skateboards do you own?
I can tell you right now, he owns 7. 'Cause he has all of those in that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot. Just ones I have saved. You know what I mean? Just so I could like, if this one gets messed up. I think I have like 8 in my closet right now.
I assume there's famous artists like those ones that you have behind you. You obviously like them for the artwork, right? Are there like famous artists, or is it just like famous brands that do this?
So for this, like these are like the ones directly behind me. These two are like this one's one of my first graphics ever when I turned pro. So it kind of means a lot. And this one's like a graphic my mom thought of when I was a kid.
Okay, I hate to break it to you. That graphic's been around for hundreds of years. Your mother had little to nothing to do with it.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Kelly Hart, King of Hearts.
Yeah.
I used to skate my board backwards when I was a kid. I would skate the nose as the tail, and people thought I was nuts for that. And so I would have my stickers on backwards, and my mom's like, "Why don't you just make a board like like a card series or something like King of Hearts that like you could look at it and it's the same both ways pretty much."
Oh, there you go.
And so
How did you first? Because I have a friend of mine whose kid is about 10 and showing a lot of prowess as a skateboarder, and he's not a skateboarder. He's just like the kid just picked it up.
Mhm.
Did you have influences in your life, or was it just watching like as you said, skateboarding videos or something like that, or did you have a relative that got you into it? How did that all work out?
No, honestly, it was like I grew up a major jock, like playing baseball, football, basketball, and then my friends came skating down the street. I thought it looked really cool. I tried it out, and then I kind of realized they showed they could do tricks with it, and that's what like blew my mind. And if you really think about it, like there's so much you can do with that, like within this canvas of a world that we live in, where like there's stairs and handrails and all these things. And my mind just got obsessed with it. And I fully became obsessed with it, and I let it just take away.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we were talking about it yesterday, but I was fully into skateboarding for a long time. And that was part of the allure, was the freedom of it too. I would just tell my mom, I'm going to meet up with my friends, Charlie and other people. We're going to go skateboarding. And then we would just go all over like the little area we lived in, South Miami. And we'd find places, be like, oh, look at this. We can come off the skateboard on here and come down here and then this. And it was like pretty pure back then, because there's obviously no cell phones, something like that. We didn't even bring cameras. We were just out there doing it. And that was like it was just really fun. And we'd just be sitting on the board, just drinking like a soda, hanging out. It was really
one of the worst like bike accidents or skateboard accidents. The worst accident I had as a kid was on a skateboard. And I didn't break anything, but fuck me, I can still picture it in my head. There was this street. I wasn't a very good skateboarder, and there was this strip in the asphalt. You call it asphalt here?
Asphalt, yeah.
Asphalt. Anyway, so the asphalt was all like bubbly type of stuff. It wasn't the smooth stuff. And so the skateboard would go down this hill. It was a very steep hill. It would go down at a pretty reasonable pace, but nothing to ride home at. Anyway, they redone this road, and I didn't know about it. And I went to this hill, and they made it into the smooth stuff. Fuck me. I went hell for leather down this fucking thing, and I was just like, oh, and then I got the death wobbles, right? And the thing started wobbling like that. And then you do the bit where you go, I have to bail out on this because I'm about to fall down, and you run, but you're moving faster than you can run. So you do like a few steps. All right, I'm going to keep up with that. And then I just went bang and smashed my face and blood coming out of everything. And I remember I can still remember this, just sliding down the road and just looking at my arm, just the flesh tear off. I can still remember it. Yeah, I've still got a scar on my elbow from it.
I used to have my dog named Woo. And Woo would pull me on my skateboard, and I would we'd just be cruising along at a good pace. And one day she saw a cat. It wasn't good. And then she started just running, and I was like, and then the board started just wobbling a little bit. And the same exact thing as you're talking about, like trying to catch up. But I made it off the concrete, but then there was just these shrubs, bougainvilleas. You have them here with like thorns and everything.
Bougainvilleas.
I went straight into that, and that was one of the worst. I got scars on my body.
We're having a lot of accent problems today.
I say bougainvillea. You say bougainvilleas here.
No, I say bougainvilleas.
I know you say it, but bougainvillea.
I know, but like I didn't know that you say bougainvillea.
I don't know what that word is, period.
Bougainvillea. How many accidents do you like? How many? I'm sure you've had a ton, right, Kelly?
He's had his hip replaced. They put a human in there.
Well, dude, the crazy part, the hip thing is that just wore out over time. That wasn't like I didn't even fall. Like it just like, oh, your hip's gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like your hip's done.
You could have got that from being a vigorous fuck. Like, like you'd be like me, don't move much. Let them get on top.
Yeah.
I mean, that too. But
Jim's donating his hips later on.
I have the hips of an 8-year-old.
But
I've broken my ankle, has like just been completely sideways and turned around. Like it's but I always trip out. Like all this stuff happens. You get surgeries and your foot's hanging off sideways. But for some reason, all I want to do is just keep skating. So it's just kind of like a weird
the song Tub Thumping.
Very
it is
smooth.
A little bit like that. Yeah.
I said to Kelly that I could work Chumbawamba into every podcast.
You get knocked down, but you get back up again.
But was there ever an accident where you're like, fuck this is stupid. I should drive a car. Like, you know what I mean? Like
He might even have a driver's license.
Well, I do have a driver's license.
Wow.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, how else did you get to the hospital?
That's why I know about the organ donor thing. But when I was a kid in my garage, I was skating by myself, and I was trying this trick called a fakie heel flip. And dude, my board had been so skated down that it was had razor tail. It's just like super sharp edges. My board went straight up, like a credit card, like right in my nuts. Like so small that like my legs didn't even hit the ground. So like I was just like that. And that was a really weird part where I was like, dude, this shit, there's some consequences to what I'm trying here.
Yeah,
like,
now you're infertile.
Yeah, that's when you figured it out, when you got hit in the nuts. You You didn't
That's
look
what
at you didn't look at a plank of wood with some small wheels on it and go, there's a chance I could fall off this.
I mean, I'll eat shit all the time, but some when you hit your nuts, man, that's a different story. Like people, if you walk online, like people sack it like on handrails, and that's painful to watch. That's really painful. I've done it one time, but it didn't exactly hit my nuts, so I was all right.
I feel without skateboarding, we don't have the jackass generation. It was all the fails or anything like that. It was watching you guys do stunts and smashing in and then getting up and doing it again and all your mates laughing. That was the impetus for that to start, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, so Bam Margera and all those dudes, they had a video called CKY back in the day, and that's where like initially Jackass started. They made a skate video and they were doing wild ass shit. They incorporated like throwing a dummy off of a bridge onto someone's car, and you're like, holy shit, that was insane. But like you can make someone just think you just hit them with, I don't know. And then they incorporated skateboarding into it, and that's how it got like taken to this next level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought something like that. Yeah.
Who really quickly? Who is the woman on the pink board? Because I can't read it.
So
Wilson.
It's
that
my
what it
buddy Jerron Wilson. He's one of the co-hosts as well on the podcast that I'm on. It's a character from a skate. It's a really quick character from a skate video I grew up watching. And,
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like a little skit, and she like just pops in real quick.
It looked a little bit like Cherie Curry, so I could.
What's your
I couldn't
favorite
tell.
skateboarding movie? I'll tell you mine first. It's Beverly Hills Cop 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Mine is Back to the Future.
Citizens on Patrol.
Wait, what's Kelly Hart? What's your favorite skateboarding movie?
I would go back to the Future, but so I'm not like a big movie buff from the past, but like you mentioned that movie, and then like Police Academy, people say that about skateboarding. Like there's a bunch of movies.
Gleaming the Cube.
Tony Hawk's in the Police Academy movie.
Gleaming the Cube is the one I go for.
And you know who Tony Hawk is the stunt skateboarder for in Citizens on Patrol, which spells cop, by the way.
You said Beverly Hills Cop.
No,
first.
Beverly Hills. Police Academy. Police Academy.
Didn't you say Beverly Hills
Oh,
Cop?
I got it wrong. Police Academy, Citizens on Patrol, Police Academy 4, right? And Tony Hawk is on it because I remember watching it and seeing him in the credits and that sort of stuff. He's one of the skateboarders. There's a whole lot of famous skateboarders in it. But he is the stunt skateboarder for David Spade.
Oh, that's right.
David Spade's the punk teenager who's around the shopping center like, I'm going to skate wherever I want to skate. And then when we look at his feet, it's Tony Hawk.
That's amazing.
Well, Gleaming the Cube was with Christian Slater, and it's like his brother dies. His adopted brother is murdered, maybe, and he's trying to figure out what happened. And then he uncovers a government conspiracy. Christian Slater. But there's a lot. I was just seeing there's a lot of pro skaters in it. Mark McGill, Rodney Mullen, Lance Mountain, which is my first board.
What about Brink from
Tony
the
Hawk
Disney
was in it.
Channel?
Tommy Guerrero.
I like box boarders.
Has
heard of that.
No one
skateboarding
has.
has skateboarding progressed? Like, so you know when you talk about baseball and then they argue, oh, Babe Ruth hit all these home runs, but no one was throwing over 88 miles an hour or what? You know what I mean? Has skateboarding since the heyday of the Tony Hawks of this world, are they night and day better now, or is everyone sort of?
Yeah, I would say so. Actually, definitely. I mean, the skate parks now that people can go to, like they're all over the place now. Like even compared to when I grew up, like I had a skate park that came around when I was 15. It was like very like whatever. So kids now have like access to vert ramps, to handrails, to ledges, to manual pads, like all like they can skate anything nowadays. And I can't, like I dropped it on vert, which is like the big Tony Hawk quarter that I almost shit my pants, dude. That was like that was the hardest thing I've ever done. I feel like, it was like it was a 13-foot vert ramp. But like if you walk down, there's like 13-year-old girls in the Olympics like doing tricks that are like unbelievable. That like are winning like gold and silver medal. So it's like from men and women skateboarding, it's definitely been in a lot.
I think with the YouTube era and just social media in general, like any skill that you can possibly learn, people are at such an advantage.
Yes,
now.
when I was young, when we skateboarded, we had Skateboarding Magazine and Thrasher Magazine. Those were two magazines, and they would have, this is the trick of the month, whatever, and it would be hand drawn or it would be like still frames of and you were like, I guess we'll try and figure this shit out. And now you can like pause, look at your feet, this, that.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps a lot. But I think the skate park, like you said, Kelly, is a huge thing because when I growing up in Miami, we did a lot of street skating, but there was barely anyone had any half pipes or quarter pipes or anything. And there was no skate parks. And we thought like California was like this magical, like we're like, if you go out to California, everybody skateboards out there. And I just imagined that the culture was so much different. And I think it's like worldwide.
But I like to go when I'm at Venice Beach. That's my favorite bit. I go down and watch the kids skateboard. I've been removed a few times by the police.
Can't have your dick out.
You can. You just got to be very crafty.
Yeah, sometimes. Sorry, go, Kelly. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, when it comes to like sports, like they're very confined to what they have. Like they have a field, right? There's only so much you can do in that one field, unless I don't know. Skateboarding, there's always gonna be progression. Like it's never gonna stop. There are tricks being done these days that I never thought were even possible. You know what I mean? So
and the boards must have gotten better. The technology must have gotten slightly better, or is it pretty much the same? Because I remember those ones in the 70s with they had the roller skate wheels. They had like the real big ones, and we all had that plastic board that was sort of just like that sort of that cliche looking blue board with a little bit up, and then they made the bigger boards, and then they started having the bend at both ends and all that type of bullshit. You probably know more.
Well, no, you're on point. Like the way the skateboards have actually shaped is like, when I first started, I had a flat ass board I got from Target where like had a little kicktail, and like you couldn't even think tricks were possible on that thing. You know what I mean? So that's why. But now you have a board like this. It's like both sides. It's called a popsicle shape, I guess you want to call it, and it's more of a technical board. But I mean, people started just using wood, and it's just kind of been the same for the last 20 years, I guess.
Do you think it's a good form of transportation? Whenever I see someone skateboarding to get somewhere, I feel like there's got to be an easier way.
Well,
I think, for me, because I'm comfortable with it, that like you put like some bigger cruiser wheels on there that like can go over cracks easier. But sometimes I will say this, like I lived in San Diego for a while. I would go to my roommate Walker Ryan. He went to UCSD, and I would go in there with him and skate. And kids would get longboards, and they're super fast, and they would use it for transportation, but they don't know how to ride it. So they would haul ass down in the campus, and there would be so many crazy accidents, like ambulances getting called and stuff like that, based off of, if you're going to get a skateboard, try to know what you're doing. Like, don't just get on it and think, oh, it's cool. I'll just go down.
Yeah, but you only learn from your mistake. I've been snowboarding a couple of times, twice. I've given it a go, and it's not my skill set, but I was trying on the kids' ramps, and I remember once I was just franging down the fucking hill, and I didn't know how to turn the things. I was just yelling at children, "Out of the way, kids! Out of the way!" Barreled into someone's mum.
Well,
and that's how your first child was born.
Here's an advancement. The wheels used to be made of something else. You said granite. That was not right, but they were made kind of close. I don't know. They used to be made out of.
They were out of clay, I think, before.
Yeah.
Like in the very beginning, and then they turned into the polyurethane.
Yeah, and I was reading that was like with the drought. You said, because it was another question you got right about them emptying the swimming pools. But once they were polyurethane, I guess they were able to mimic more that ride, that smooth ride, and they'd be able to like grip better, I guess, to surfaces and things like that. So yeah, clay wheels. I don't even understand.
Like that, you jump and it would crack if you landed.
I don't think people were doing a lot of tricks back then when they had clay.
That started to happen when the tricks started to elevate. Like the technology kind of went with it, right? To go to the polyurethane.
You ever put this thought of putting like truck wheels just out the side, and your board's in the middle, and you're way high up? Is anyone like how big?
A lifted skateboard.
Yeah, because the wheels are like that. You'd be up
Stars and straps.
Just like for those douchey American pickup trucks that are too big.
Yeah, it's just everybody in the
big.
909.
There's a bunch over here in Glendale.
There's basically dirt boards. They have boards you can ride in dirt that are basically that. They're massive ass wheels with like trucks, and I would never do it personally, but I think they're out there.
Okay, so the half pipe you got right. Ollie, as you said, was a little kick at the back and jump up.
You can get up on a gutter or a curb.
It's not named after Ellie Overton. It was named after Alan Ollie Gelfand.
She won the bronze, man. She won the bronze.
Those names are similar though.
But there's a skater named Rodney Mullen that was the one that said we're naming it the Ollie after Ollie since he invented it. But I guess Rodney perfected it. I don't know. Initially, or yeah.
Well, dude, Rodney is like, he invented so many tricks that have bloomed into like all this amazing stuff. So I mean, I guess you'd say he's like the godfather in a way.
Have you invented any?
Well,
I don't think I've maybe done a trick that was hard that no one's done like since, but it's very specific, but nothing named after me or anything.
What's your hardest trick? What's your one where you go?
That's one of our
fuck
questions,
it,
maybe, right?
Kelly's
Or-
going for it.
I don't know.
Well, let me kind of say this too. If
You
you're
go.
don't ever ask anyone that question as a skateboarder. But like, hey, dude, what's your hardest trick? It's like,
All right, you don't ask me to tell a fucking joke. We'll call it even.
Why don't you ask a skateboarder that?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like, hey, how high do you ollie, or like how many boards can you ollie? It's like a weird question. I don't know.
We're taking an interest in your life here, Kelly. Fuck it. You go to dinner parties, don't ask me about skateboarding. I'm sick of talking about skateboarding.
Well, it's like this. It's like I would tell you guys, if you were to grab a skateboard, one thing you would do, I would tell you never to do, is grab it by the trucks and carry it.
Oh.
That's called a mall grab. And so if you see someone doing that, you're like, as a skateboarder, you're like, oh, that person has no idea about skateboarding.
Why can't you grab it like that? What's wrong with doing that? That's how we
Seems
always
like the
grab
easiest
it.
way to carry it.
Yeah. Don't
Don't
use the handle on the side of the board. You'll look like a fucking hack. What you do is you put it up against your shirt so the Velcro-y type bit on the side makes everything pill.
Imagine getting your groceries bagged and then you just have to pick them up like this and carry them out.
But hey, it's like, I don't know. And you can roast me on this too, but I don't know much about comedy. Like when in your field of like how things work, and like I'm sure there's like kooky things. You're like, oh man, you never do that. Like
No, he was being serious about the comedian thing. When you tell anybody you work in comedy, they're like, oh, tell me a joke. And it's like, that's not how this
the
fucking
problem
works.
with tell us a joke is you're never going to make them happy. I'll tell you what's worse than tell me a joke is I have a joke for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god! And so people do it. They come and look. First of all, I do these meet and greets after my show, and I really enjoy it. People always come up to me and go, "You must hate this." It's not. It's a wonderful experience. Everyone's really nice to you. And so people come up, but then someone will go, "I got a joke for you," and I go like this. All right, I'm not going to laugh. You understand? I know a lot of jokes. I've heard a lot of jokes. I probably am not going to laugh. And then they go, oh, no, I'll tell it anyway.
Oh, I'm going to get
And then you don't laugh, and then you're an asshole.
Yep.
And you're like, I told you.
Yeah. No one ever does anyone ever come up to you? I got a trick. Watch a trick. Here you go.
I'll tell you the joke. If people go, if people go, you got a joke. You go, an Irishman and a Scotsman and an Englishman walk into a bar and they all agree you're a cunt.
Quick and to the point.
Oh wait, some people do walk up to you and show you tricks? No.
I wouldn't say that, but I don't know.
Well, he is a judge.
Yeah.
So-
Well, no, I mean, that's a competition. Yeah, I'm talking about just like the same person is like walking up and telling us a joke. But I will say, if you're a comedian and you take the mic out of the stand and you leave the mic stand there, that's probably the same thing as picking up a board by the truck, maybe. It's like a faux pas. I don't know.
Because if you leave it, it's in
yeah.
your line sight and you're walking around. I still see people do it on specials to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm like at the screen, move the fucking mic stand.
Yeah. So it's probably the same type of thing.
Interesting.
There is those things in like kind of all sports or at whatever you do. You know what I mean? Like there's, oh man, you just can't do that.
I've yelled that out at a eulogy.
Well,
Move the mic stand.
It's a podium.
Stop crying. You got to show power up there.
yeah, I think like any type of community, there's a lingo to things. There's a way things go, so you can tell imposters fairly easily based on their comfort level.
I got one for you, Kelly. There's an undercover cop, and he's trying to infiltrate, like 21 Jump Street, the skateboarding community. What sentence would he say where you'd go, get the fuck out of here?
Oh man.
You'd say,
Hey, what's your best trick?
oh, yeah. Is the word gnarly still used in your community? Do you still say gnarly?
Gnarly? Yeah, for sure. Gnarly.
All right.
Yeah.
Stood the test of time. It's been around since I was a kid. I thought gnarly would be back in the day.
What is
I think that would be like G Willikers.
Peanuts.
What is a manual pad? Jim said when men get their periods and what you wear after a vasectomy. I don't think that was right.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe a different world. But yeah, a manual pad is when you balance.
Oh, it's when a Mexican guy does it.
That's a
Emmanuel.
Manuel.
Oh, okay.
Luis
sorry.
laugh.
No.
Luis laughs.
Luis
It's okay.
laugh so he doesn't
I
get
thought,
canceled.
I thought Emmanuel. Ah,
We're
don't
safe.
fucking. Now he's laughing. Now he's looking at. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you and the wooden car you drove in on.
That was uncalled for.
So Kelly, what is a manual pad?
A manual is when you balance on like the back two wheels or the front two wheels. So it's like a wheelie, I guess you would say, when people do it on a bike.
Mm.
And a manual pad would be like a little like box or something that you would, or a manual, like, or a pad that you would balance on the manual.
Okay.
Across.
And
What's
then-
the manual?
That's the being on
wheels.
two wheels. The
Oh,
Oh,
wheelie
that's the
part.
manual.
back or
That's
the front two wheels? Yeah. What is a shove it? Yeah.
Oh, so shove
Yeah.
it is.
You're the
when-
expert, Kelly.
No, Jim didn't get that right. I can read
I
Jim's
wanna get
answer
the
again.
answer it again. Sorry.
I'll give it an answer.
He put the nose on the. He said put the nose on the railing.
Yeah, if you put it up there fast enough, you need a manual pad.
So a shove it is when you're like going straight and you just, the board does a 180, but you don't change your stance. Like,
Oh,
Yeah, I know
I've
that.
seen shove-its. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
those.
It's like magic.
Is it
Okay.
the same as a push shove it? Is that all the same thing?
pop shove it.
Pop shove it. Pop shove it.
Pick
Pop
up,
shove it is when you actually hit the tail and it goes in the air.
pick
Ooh.
up those
Shove it.
dicks.
Cool.
What is Tony Hawk's famous move? Jim said he's best at the hand plant.
The hand plant.
He did do those a lot. He still
Yeah,
does.
does he?
Still
Yeah.
skates. He's a legend. His famous move is the 900.
Yeah.
So
Which is what?
he spun 900
Be
degrees.
900 degrees.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's like twice and then another half.
Yeah, 360 plus 360
7,
plus
20,
another half. Two and a
180.
half turns.
Wow.
And he did it like in a live competition. So like it was the first time a trick being done pretty much, and then like in
He did it in several other dead competitions, but no one was there to see it.
Goofy foot, you got right. What is a leap of faith? Was it ever landed? He said he assumed there's a big monster ramps and it has been landed.
When you were thinking of is the mega ramp, which
Yeah.
does kind of sound like the same, to be honest, though that was pretty close. Which is insane. If you,
I love watching it on the TV. The bicycle riders I like even more, but the skateboarders seems very dangerous.
yeah, it's gnarly. But the leap of faith is like, it was at a school down in San Diego, I think, and it was just like a 2-story, like over a handrail to a complete drop down another story, or like a flight of stairs. So like jumping off the second story to flat.
Oh, it's a place? It's like an actual place in San
It
Diego?
was an actual school. They took it out, but Jamie Thomas, it's like probably the most famous trick that was never landed. Like
Wow.
he landed on it, broke his board, and then that was it.
But he's the
Like-
only one who didn't end up like kind of mangled after trying it, right? Like he was.
Yeah, he broke
That was
his
like the
board.
most successful attempt.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think he tried it once. He did I think he did some sort of grab down it so the board would stay underneath his feet. And then he just broke it in the middle. And then when he went to go back, he wanted to go back to try it. And then they remodeled the school.
Damn.
And did you ever give it a go?
Hell no. Dude, that's like,
What are we
It-
talking to you for? What are we- I'm only going to get to talk about skateboarding once.
Which comedian is a pro skateboarder? Jim did not know.
Okay, I'll change my answer. Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan. Do you know?
Pop shove it.
Do you know this, Kelly?
well, I want to know. I know that Mark Norman grew up skateboarding.
Yeah,
Boards.
but he's not a pro skateboarder.
It was
right?
Tom Green.
Wait,
Tom Green.
Yeah.
Tom Green,
Tom
really?
Green did have he had a board on Birdhouse. He's friends with Tony Hawk, and Tony Hawk gave him a pro model skateboard.
That's
Yeah.
right. He even skateboarded in Freddie. He got fingered.
Yeah.
He skateboarded.
Now there's a famous skateboarder whose dad is a comedian. I don't know if you know. They have the same name. I don't know if you know that. I don't even know if you know this comedian. He was an older school comedian. He's still around. Paul Rodriguez.
I was going to say Gilbert.
Mhm.
No. But Paul Rodriguez and his son is still Paul. I mean,
We talked on the Patreon about
Gilbert.
I'm not being mean to Gilbert Godfrey. I know he passed away.
Yeah.
We talked very nice about him on the other podcast. Subscribe to the Patreon.
but he goes by P-Rod, right? The pro skateboarder. Yeah.
Paul Rodriguez is probably one of the best skaters in the world, and his dad's a comedian.
Paul Rodriguez.
The comedian, yeah.
He was in Crocodile Dundee 3.
Yeah, he was, yeah. And
that's a real celebrity.
But years ago, I did shows with Paul Rodriguez, a comedian, and I think it was when his son, P-Rod, was like, he was just coming up, or maybe he just got the Nike sponsorship, but he was like watching skateboarding videos. I go, what are you watching? He goes, oh, this is my son. He's a professional skateboarder. And you're always like, I'm sure he is, whatever. And then he goes, oh, he's P-Rod. I go, oh, yeah, I know who that is. Actually, I was like, holy shit, that's your son. He's more famous than his dad. I mean, way more famous than his dad now at this point. I mean, it's like, he's amazing.
Who gets the best looking women out of, right? So you got like, so I know like my brother's a cop, right? But I always think that firemen get better pussy than the cops because of the outfits and they're saving people and fire and all that type of stuff. Skateboarders, okay, rollerblades I'm not even putting in the competition.
You talking about BMX riders? No.
Yeah, like so BMX riders, skateboarders, surfers. Who's got the most rampant female or any fan base? Who's got the best fan base?
I would say surfers probably, if you're known. Skateboarder, I mean, surfing is massive, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
I would probably say surfers and then skaters.
Yeah.
Then BMX last, huh?
I mean, like surfers are out like in the water, their shirts off and whatever. I don't know. Like, that would be my assumption.
They got cool names like Kelly.
Exactly.
Surprised you even brought up BMX Bandits yet.
Or
what did you think?
Lavin?
What did you think of the movie BMX Bandits? Have you seen it?
I don't even know what that is.
That's
What's
in
that?
your community. It's the BMX.
This is a movie Jim likes.
All right, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. Think of a young Nicole Kidman. All right, now think of her if she had like a huge afro and she had to put a helmet over the top of it, right? And she had two other mates called Goose and somebody else who were into BMXing. And they just ride their bikes around Sydney. They get to a water park and they have to evade the guys who are chasing them. So they go down the slides because this would be the only way to evade them. Look, I've just set your night out for you, Kelly. BMX Bandits. It's a real film. There's a walkie-talkie heist and they stop it. Fucking good movie, mate.
Okay. A skate stopper. Jim said when you put little bits of concrete in the ground, foot braille. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's funny. I never heard of that term before, but no, like they do put those things in front of like stairs for like skaters to not like, so you can't roll over it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, skate stoppers would be, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like if you go to like certain, I don't know, like plazas or something like that, like you'll see like little things on the corner of the ledges that make it so like you go to San Francisco, like all down like the Barcadero and everything like that. You'll see like little starfish they put on the corners of the ledges. So like the skaters can't slide or grind over the edges anymore.
It's the same principle as when they put spikes on the top of things so pigeons can't bother it.
Or so homeless people can't sleep up there.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
No, on the top of letters and signs.
But like
now
they put like spikes on benches and stuff like that so that
they put like weird armrests on the bench so you can't lay down.
so you can't lie down. Yeah.
Another thing I'd say too is like it's hard. It's weird to explain this to people, but like I made my career, or most of pro skateboarders made a career off like skating places you're not allowed to skate that you can get like arrested with, and so there's a lot of security guards and like police involved, and that's always been like I don't understand. Like it's in the Olympics now and everything, but I don't. Sometimes I have a hard time believing everyone knows that like skateboarders have a rough time making a career, but we have to do it where you're not allowed to do it.
Right.
That makes it always pretty tough.
Did they? So. When I was a kid, the big tag that they spray painted around the place was "skate or die." Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say people to say that all the time, but it's definitely a phrase that still like lives to this day.
No, that would be the undercover cop. I think if the undercover cop came and goes, "Hey guys, skate or die," you'd be like, "All right, narc, get it."
I go, "That's not gnarly." What you're doing is not gnarly.
When I was young, it was skateboarding is not a crime. Skateboarding is not a crime.
Jack just heard himself sitting in a chair. So we have to assume that his skating career isn't going to be all it would be.
He like punched himself in the face and punched
my
his mic.
headset fell off. I tried catching it and hit the mic. It's all right.
Are you having a stroke?
All right.
Do you know the GoPro camera? Right, it used to be called. It was like the skate cam. The original name was they wanted to call it the skate cam because skateboarders wanted to strap it to their chest or whatever so they could film all their stuff. But then the guy who was making GoPro at the last minute went, hang on, you can film everything on it. And so that's why it was changed. Originally called the skate cam or the surf cam. I've got that story wrong one way or the other.
Okay, we'll look it up.
I totally. I mean, I believe that camera kind of tripped, like that changed the game for like a lot of like how things were documented for sure.
So how when you're competition, how do competitions work? Like the scoring, this and that. Like when you're watching it, I watch X Games, I watch the Olympics, this and that, and I used to skate, but like, how does scoring work? What do you get taken away? Like, how do the point system work and stuff like that?
Jeff was pretty spot on actually, exactly of like top and bottom score get taken out, and then the average between the middle three. I was like, wow, that was pretty much it. But there's sometimes depending on the contest, there's different like point scales.
Okay. But like, what would be what would you get deducted for? I'm obviously not landing a trick, but I mean, is there anything else that like, if it's not
if you land a trick and it's like sketchy, like, oh, you put your hand on the ground or like you tic tac away or like you just, that doesn't look smooth, like maybe you'll get some points deducted out of it. But yeah, it's like difficulty a trick, what obstacle you did it on, how smooth it was. It's like all these factors into one. And then like you'll have in Street League, you have the best trick section where it's just like you do one trick and the score's based off that. And then you have runs, which is like a bunch of tricks in a minute. So
I actually know how this works. If you've ever played the video game Tony Hawk's, when you do like a kickflip or something like that, a little a score will just appear under your board. Bling.
You should have answered that the first time.
Bling, bling, bling. Bling, bling. And then you just like go down like your time's running out. So you go, ollie, 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 right at the end to get an extra 30 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points.
It's funny. I think they tried to develop that at one point, but skateboarding is such a subjective sport that like you can't do it like that, because someone could do like a bunch of kickflips, but they're disgusting looking, and someone could do it. It's really beautiful, and you're like, well, that dude did the same trick, but that looks so much better, and he did it on something way bigger. So you're like, you couldn't really use it that way.
Do they ever do like a Davis Cup thing where it's like America versus Australia or something like that, and you get into teams? I guess the Olympics is what that is.
The Olympics basically.
Just answered my question.
Well, you can talk about the Olympics. You were at the Olympics, right?
Yeah, I was at the Olympics, and I was doing like social media stuff. I was supposed to be one of the judges, but since I work for these brands, someone complained that it'd be like a conflict of interest. So, but I was like, oh, that's all right. I'll do the social media, and that was fun. But it was a amazing talent out there, so it was hot as fuck.
And you got to do the course, right?
I got to skate the course, but that course was gnarly. The course was gnarly. Everything was super huge, and like there was some fun stuff to skate for like someone. I don't jump down that stuff anymore. So, but it was a cool experience, and it was weird going out there with no one there. Like these massive stadiums they built, but not one it's just a couple skaters skating, and then like a couple of people working the event, and that's it. So it was really kind of like odd. But it was.
Oh, Kelly, there's been a virus.
Yeah. That had something to do with it.
You don't know what's going on.
Would that affect you in a skate competition? Because I mean, are you aware of the crowd normally? Like, are you feed off the crowd and skate, or are you just kind of tune it out? Or
well, I think people feed off the crowd. There was this dude Nigel Houston who ended up, I think, getting like 7th, I believe, but he was. So like people were thinking he was just going to destroy everything and get first. And I think no one being there, and there wasn't this hype that, it's like playing a basketball game. It's like going to a basketball game and then like no one's there. So
yeah, it's a lot easier to get in your head when it's silent.
Yeah. So it was just it must have been weird for those. I don't think they've ever had it like that before. So
I like those BMX races at the Olympics now on the dirt tracks where they all just jump everywhere, and Australia's always got like, here's Cindy, 15-year-old girl from Wollongong. She's going to have a go. I love that race.
When they had the BMX little venue right next to the skate one, and I got to look over at it, and people will get so fucked up on that stuff. Going face first into the dirt and then like riding into other people like that. to me, like legitimately didn't look fun. That looked like it was terrible.
None of it looks fun. I don't look at any of the sports and go, oh, they look like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I think they're having fun if you're good at it.
Not at Olympic level. It's stressful, isn't it? It's stressful.
Maybe. When
it's fun, like it's fun doing a gig to like a few hundred people who are really enjoying it. But then when you do a gig that's like, oh, this is important, it's for TV or something, it's not as fun, you know.
Or if every time you did a gig, there was a high probability that you were going to fucking break a bone. Wouldn't be as fun.
I've had some.
I mean, yeah,
moments,
you got punched in the face.
I got punched in the face. So.
Don't present any awards.
Yeah. You tell that to Chris Rock. How fucking safe my industry is.
Street League skateboarding. Who founded that? Not you, right, Kelly? That's what Jim said. Or did you find it?
I think he was talking to Kelly Blackheart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I founded that.
Yeah, no, I did not. But Rob Dyrdek did.
Oh, nice.
Rob Dyrdek, the host of Ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness.
Really? That
He's a
guy?
skateboarder, yeah.
He was a skateboarder.
And he's a Jackass
He
4.
was a dope skateboarder. Like I looked up to him as a kid. Like he rode for really good sponsors and he did really good tricks.
And he's built this whole empire now. But obviously Ridiculousness is this whole thing and stuff too. But
I like the girl in Ridiculousness. She's one of me crushes.
Chantel West.
I like her. Yeah, I like her. So she's got a good disposition to her. She laughs a lot.
What is Street League skateboarding then?
That's why I get called Chantel West Coast a lot.
Really?
You sent me comments that say that.
I don't remember.
No.
I literally get that. I get that same comment towards me a lot in my podcast that I'm like the Chanel West Coast of skateboarding. That I just laugh much. And you're like, is that supposed to be weird? Like,
yeah. Sorry, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What is?
I'm just upset because I thought I made Kelly laugh and it was hard. Turns out he's a fucking easy laugh. There you go. Did it again. How easy is that? You'll do it again in a second. Still smiling.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, still going.
What is Street League skateboarding now that Rob Dyrdek founded?
So the Street League is a contest series they have. I think they have like 5 a year roughly. And they just do these contests all over the world. And it's just street skateboarders getting out and, they just create a good platform for these skaters to perform. They're crazy big venues and, the skaters get to make some money off of it. So it's pretty cool.
And you judge those, right? In your bio.
I judge those. Yeah, I do judge those.
Sorry, I just had to text my wife to pick up my son from school. I wasn't being rude.
Okay, we got a couple more questions.
No. She was always doing it, but I had to remind her, so I just remembered in time. I wasn't being rude, but I had to do that text.
What is a fakie, Trey Fakey Manny? Jim said when you go to do a stunt and then you're like, what? And then what? When you get the fat kid from Modern Family to do it.
His name was Manny.
Yeah, okay. I didn't forget that. That can't be what it is, right, Kelly?
No, I've never heard that, but yeah. Fakie Trey Manny is like a trick I did. It's a fakie 360 flip to fakie manual.
Oh, right.
But what does that mean? Like, describe that to us, please.
So it's like I did it on this spot in West LA. It's at the West LA courthouse, and it's a really tall manual pad, something that's like a little lower than like your waist. And I did that trick on there. And that's kind of like a trick I'm maybe known for in skateboarding, but it's just like it's the one trick that I never thought would be possible and no one would do it. And I ended up doing it. I'm not trying to brag. And I don't know how the fuck I did it, but I did it.
You can't brag about this. You can't brag about anything, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, brag.
I was like, it's the happiest thing or like my most proudest thing.
All right, that's enough.
What happens in the trick though? So I know you described it, but a lot of people that don't know about skateboarding, like so the board is spinning or flip or something. Yeah.
So you're going, fakie is when you go backwards on your skateboard. Your regular stance, you're going backwards.
Right. Okay.
You're going reverse and the board does a 360 flip, which is this. It's a 360 shove it and a kick flip together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I landed on going backwards in a manual position, fakie manual, and then I balanced across this manual pad. And
wow.
Whoa. That does sound hard. Yeah. Everything sounded hard, just the beginning part, but yeah.
I imagine you guys watch a lot of film of yourselves, right? It's like baseball players or anything. You go to the tape and you go, oh, that's where I did it wrong. That's where I did it wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at it and like, you might not, oh, I don't like the way that looked. I want to go do it again. Or like, like sometimes, I don't know, you landed sketchy, but you did the trick. You're like, no, I want to do it better. So you kind of look at your footage and kind of like analyze it. And every skateboarder is their own worst critic. I'm sure like maybe, I don't know, sometimes you look at your stuff or whatever. I don't know. Like you're like, it goes with everyone. They're like, man, that one, I just didn't feel right. But everyone else is like, no, that was perfect.
Right.
That was absolutely perfect. You're like, no, but it didn't feel right to me. So
yeah, it's because people bullshit you, don't they? I know when I've had a bad gig and people go, you were great. No, it wasn't. I know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What is El Toro? Our last question here. Jim said a very cheap tequila with a red hat on it.
There's a little plastic red hat on it.
And skating, what is El Toro?
It's actually this a big set of 20 stairs down in Orange County. And it's kind of like, if you do a trick on the set of stairs, it's like the biggest thing in skateboarding. Kind of like you get famous off of doing tricks down El Toro.
20 stairs. People have jumped the whole 20 stairs.
So basically replace the leap of faith.
Pretty much. Yeah. Because actually they tried doing you called it the braille bumps. They did that in front of the stairs and they put a fence there. And then it's like, it's just, if you look it up, some dude even ollied it naked. This guy Jaws.
I'll look that up.
Is it illegal to do these stunts on these places? Like it's public property. You're part of the public. You're riding Yeah, it's definitely not allowed. That's why it's like kind of funny. I trip out that like there'll be covers of skateboard magazines skating a spot that you're not allowed to skate. And I'm like, that is direct evidence of you skating like this place, and nothing, knock on wood, but nothing's really ever happened like that. Yeah, what did we fucking go into court? Did you do a kickflip on these stairs?
I'm looking at it right now. It's a huge stair. Holy cow. Have you jumped it? Have you done it?
No, dude, I was never that type of dude. Sorry. I know you want probably bigger jumpers on this podcast.
I want a good medium jumper. I don't want any, not a small jumper. Look, this isn't a small podcast. It's a medium-sized podcast.
But he did the fakey Trey Manny. So
that's true.
Yeah, I only skated I think the biggest stair I skated was like an 11 stair, which still is like 20 stairs is ridiculous. All right. That's not a normal thing. Like, a normal set these days is 11 or 12. That's still kind of big, but a 16 stair, there's famous spots. Hollywood High School has a really famous spot. There's a 12 stair and a 16 stair that it's kind of the same thing as El Toro. You got a trick, you want to prove yourself, you go to these spots to try to do it there.
But can't you just do the half pipe and just sort of, is there the full pipe? Is that a real thing? That was always like a myth, that the full pipe, but that's only something you can go in once, but there isn't like a full.
No, that's fully a thing. There's drainage ditches and stuff. And there's one on Mount Baldy. And I forget, it's out Inland Empire, I want to say, but
up in the mountains. Yeah.
Mount Baldy.
Yeah, it's like
I hear that's what Will Smith did after the awards.
See you later.
Thank you, everybody. Come and get me, Will.
Oh, hey, the doorbell just rang.
Oh my God.
All right.
Great success.
Dinner party facts.
I'm dead proud of myself.
That was good. That was very good.
You got so excited. You're like, here we go. I got this ready.
Yeah, when she said Mount Baldy, I didn't listen to the rest. I was already off.
There was a whole pipe there. There was a full pipe. Yeah.
Who cares?
Move on.
Okay. Callie, here's a part of our show called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our expert to give us a fact, something which you're interesting that our audience can use to impress people about this subject. What do you got for us?
So in skateboarding, there's a term called a hubba, which means there's a set of stairs and there's a ledge going down it gradually with the stairs that people grind and slide them. It's like having a handrail, basically going downstairs, but it's a ledge instead. And people call it hubba, but majority of the people don't know that where it stemmed from was there's a spot in San Francisco called the Hubba Hideout, and people that were smoking crack, it was they called crack hubba. And so this ledge was in this weird place where everyone was just smoking crack. And so they call it the Hubba Hideout. And that ledge was called Hubba. And so now you'll see terms. So like, oh, on the Olympics, they'll be like, oh yeah, this dude or whatever, skating the hubba down, like whatever, backside grind down the hubba. You're like, you don't know that what you're saying is like the person is backside grinded like some crack
house.
Yeah. He's
Is that
grinding on the hubba, which means he's grinding on crack.
Is that where Hubba Bubba came from?
What?
Hubba Bubba Gum?
Hubba Bubba.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's very popular bubble gum. Hubba Bubba? You never had Hubba Bubba?
I got Hubba Bubba, yeah. That's-
Hubba Bubba.
I don't think it came from the crack house.
It was crack though when I had it.
Oh, I love Hubba Bubba.
Yeah. Oh god.
God, I should get some for me.
Stay up for days.
Well, Kelly Hart, thank you for being here. Kelly's Instagram is at Kelly Hart, Hart. And listen to his podcast, The 9 Club. It's a skateboarding-based podcast, obviously. And with your co-host, I'm sorry, is on the podcast?
So it's Chris Roberts is the main host, and Jerron Wilson and my boy Roger Bagley. He's operating it. So that's kind of the main show. So
And it's called The 9 Club, and it's available, I'm assuming, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. And YouTube too. We have a YouTube channel.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here.
All right,
He's
Kelly.
so proud of himself still.
No. I think Kelly. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it, mate. That was a fun one. It was
It's an honor to be on this. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is really cool.
Anytime, brother. Well, next time we do skateboarding. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and goes, I was riding the hubba, just hand them a crack pipe and say, I don't know about that, and walk away. Good night, Australia.